Hi guys, Andrey is here, and in this video I'm going to show you the so-called elephant trap in Queen's Gambit. So we start with normal moves like d4, d5, pawn goes to c4, black responds with the e6, so Queen's Gambit declined. And here white enters the Carlsbad scenario, so it's possible immediately after taking on d5 or after knight to c3 and knight to f6. Then pawn captures on d5. We have seen this in previous videos. Black recaptures with a pawn. Then bishop goes to g5. And what we have discussed there was the bishop to e7 move. Just dealing with the pin and kind of preventing white from anything that is like e4, because it may be a bit annoying. The elephant trap starts with a surprising move knight to d7. So it feels like black is doing nothing against this pin along h4 d8 diagonal, and this means at first glance that white can simply capture on d5. But what happens after knight takes d5? Let's have a look at that. So the idea is clear, I guess. If we take with the knight on d5, the queen is hanging. The problem is, though, black can take on d5. So knight captures on d5 now. If white doesn't do anything, black is just a minor piece up. So capturing the queen is the only option here. And here comes the punishment. So bishop jumps to b4 with check, and it appears that the king simply has no space. So there is no chance for white to go away with the king. There's also no chance to cover the king with any piece except for queen, which means that black regains the queen with some benefits. So bishop on d8 is still hanging. After white's response, queen to d2, black normally just captures on d2 with check. King takes on d2, and then king captures on d8. So for now, black is having the extra minor piece, and all the compensation white has here is just one pawn, which is definitely not enough. White, of course, can continue playing here with the help of something like e4, but after simple knight 5 to f6, attacking the pawn on e4, it's clear that white doesn't have a sufficient compensation. For example, if white continues with the e5 here, well, it's possible to do different things, but I think the easiest is just to go back with the knight to the center, to a nice blockading square. So even if the position has, equal quantity of pieces here, black would have very nice setup, but keep in mind that black is a minor piece up here. White may try something like f3 here just to keep this nice pawn center, but it's also not enough. So knight simply goes to b6. Black continues with the development, so just a piece up. It is really annoying for white that black even has a choice after queen to d2 move. So let's have a look at this position. So after queen goes to d2, black is now forced to take the queen on d2. That's really interesting. So queen is pinned now and bishop is protected, which means black can start with king takes d8 if he wants. Obviously, if white makes the move like e4, it's the same. Basically, we take on d2 and we have the same position that we have already discussed. If white decides to take the bishop, all right, it's the same material balance. So it's actually an imbalance because black has an extra minor piece. So the question is how to avoid this trap. It's simple. Just don't take on d5. Let's have a look at the position after knight to d7 move and try to understand if knight d7 makes black's position actually worse. So if white makes a normal move here, I mean not taking on d5, but something like e3, preparing the development of the light squared bishop and also creating some room for a king, so now knight d5 becomes an actual threat. Well, in this case, black may continue with the c6 or maybe bishop e7 move. In both cases, most likely we'll get just a normal Carlsbad position. The only difference is that the knight is already on d7, so you don't really have a chance to develop your light squared bishop even if your opponent doesn't do anything against f5 square. So when the knight remains on b8, I mean, if white doesn't play queen c2 or bishop d3, we always have something like bishop f5 after the normal preparation with the c6. Here we don't have a chance to do the same, but take into account that if you play against a normal player, I mean experienced one, then most likely, even if you have a chance to play bishop f5, it will be prevented with bishop d3 or queen c2, which means this knight to d7 is just a nice order of moves, which gives you a chance to trap your opponent if your opponent is not that experienced. Thanks for your attention. I hope you found this video useful, and I do hope you will never be a victim of the elephant trap. Thanks a lot for your attention, and see you next videos.